Week 17 of the NFL season is here, so it's time to talk some NFL player props. It's been a solid year. 25-19 record for your boy picking the player props this season. So let's keep the winning vibes going as we start off. My picks this week in the city of brotherly love, where the Philadelphia Eagles will look to lock up the top seed in the NFC playoffs as they host the New Orleans Saints. Philly will be without the running ability of quarterback Jalen Hurts, so expect running back Miles Sanders to be featured with Gardner Minshew under center. The Saints' run defense, well, it's porous as they allow 4.6 yards a carry. Miles Sanders had 21 carries last week when Minshew also started and has had 15 or more carries in 9 games this season. He should get the opportunity to rack up some yards, and his rushing yard line total is 76.5. Bank Sanders to go over that number in Week 17. Does anyone remember the last time Justin Fields saw the Lions? Well, I'm sure Detroit does, as he tore up their defense in Week 10, gaining 147 rushing yards. The Bears QB has been tearing up things on the ground this season as he's averaging 72 rushing yards per game. His rushing yard line is less than his average at 70.5 yards. Don't overthink this one. It's Justin Fields versus the Lions defense. Take the over, guys. Next up, we go to the Emerald City, where the Jets will look to keep their postseason hopes alive with a win over the Seahawks. Mike White is back under center, which should be good news for the entire Jets offense, including wideout Garrett Wilson. Wilson has been productive in the Jets' aerial attack, hauling in 71 balls on 119 targets for 996 yards and 4 scores. 64.5 receiving yards is the line for Wilson this week, and he has hit the over on his prop bets for receiving yards in 9 of 15 games this season. While Gang Green will definitely try to run the ball against Seattle, look for White and Wilson to connect often. Lock in Wilson over 64.5 yards receiving. Big spot for Big Blue on Sunday as a win over the Colts punches their ticket to the postseason. The Giants, they love to run the ball. They rank 6th in the league in rushing yards per game. Indianapolis, well, they have one of the worst run defenses in the NFL this season. The Colts allow 122.2 rushing yards per game on the season. That's up to 137.7 rushing yards over the past 3 contests. And they've also allowed 18 rushing touchdowns with at least 1 in each of the past 6 games and 7 in the last 3 weeks. You know what Big Blue is going to do here. Give the Colts a heavy dose of Saquon Barkley. Now, I like Barkley, who does not have a receiving touchdown this season, but 10 rushing touchdowns to find the end zone. I'll take Barkley as an anytime touchdown scorer at MetLife Stadium. And lastly, we take a look at the Sunday night matchup in Charm City, where the Pittsburgh Steelers will battle their arch rivals, the Baltimore Ravens. Last week, Steelers running back Najee Harris saw a lot of action in the passing game. The Ravens' D is strong against the run, so Kenny Pickett and Pittsburgh could have to move the ball through the air. In Week 16 against the Raiders, Harris hauled in 6 passes for 43 yards. His receiving yards prop is 11.5 receiving yards this week. I love him to go over that number because the Ravens allow 43.3 receiving yards per game to opposing running backs, ranking as the 7th most in football. Plus, Harris has seen at least 3 targets in 9 of his 15 games. The Pittsburgh running back has solid pass-catching ability and should be able to clear his receiving yards line on Sunday. And those are my player prop picks for Week 17. It's the last picks of 2022. I'm wishing all the NFL player prop lovers out there a Happy New Year. Be safe. Keep the winning vibes going. We'll see you in Week 18.